everybody, it's time to LOL. Listen out loud, that is. It's time for Anime Jam Session with DJ Ranma S, Mako-chan, and Ari Rockefeller.
3, 2, 1, let's jam. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Anime Jam Session, episode number 675. We are that podcast that talks about anime, games, conventions, the fandom, geek stuff, and everything in between. I'm Giron Mess.
And I am Mako-chan.
And Ari is off tonight. He's working the mid shift, so don't worry, he will be back next week. So, how about that? And if you notice, there is a lighting change in my studio. Playing around with certain things, I kind of figured out something had to change. So, Anywho, Mako-chan, how are you doing tonight?
I am freaking tired.
I suppose so. I'm hanging in there, helping a friend with a little crisis here, but all that's all taken care of. And I kind of noticed that the stream is slightly off. Like, usually between Skype before it shuts down and OBS, it's literally real time with each other, but now it's like a 5-second delay, but hopefully it shouldn't screw things up. So anywho, enough about all of that. Let's get down to business here. We're live tonight, week of April 29th, 2025, right here on Twitch TV. We're here live Tuesdays from 9 to 10:30 p.m. Eastern. You can always find us at Twitch TV/Anime Jam Session. We're also proud to be part of the Voice of Geeks Network at VogNetwork.com. And you can find them at VogNetwork.com. And you also find them on Twitch at Twitch TV/VogNetwork. They kick things off on Sundays with the Bobby Blackwolf Show at 8, followed by Orange Lounge Radio at 9. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe Bobby will be off next Sunday. So stick around for Orange Lounge Radio at 9. So yeah. And come hang out in our Discord, VogNetwork.com/Discord. Every show is part of the Voice of Geeks Network, has a channel, so come through, hang out with us, and have a really good time. So, before we get into our weekend day, let's get into last week and what happened. So, for those of you who are kind of new to the show, I always try to have at least 3 hosts to help me host a podcast. If somebody can't make it, there's generally 2. If somebody else can't make it, there are a couple of other staffers I will call out to help. One of them, as you know, is Wild Spice, and she usually streams on Tuesdays, and I would need to let her know in advance if she can join us, if she can or cannot. And the other one is Koi, same thing. But I kind of have like a personal rule. I will not, there's also Barry. They stream sporadically. But I have a like a personal vibe or something like that. I kind of have a rule of I will not call for backup for the podcast if it's like within like 12 hours of the show. Because I know some people need time to mentally prepare or physically prepare or whatever, and I get that. But I don't want to do it like just like that. So So Maka, why don't you tell them what happened last week?
Yeah, so I don't know how many of you have been following the humongous wildfire going on in New Jersey right now. The fact that it started a week ago and is still, as of today, only about 75% contained. I live very close to that. So the traffic for almost all of the major roads was like they weren't allowing people to drive down the 4 major roads into that area. So all of the side roads got really, really backed up, and I didn't make it home. My normal commute is, I leave work at 5. I will probably get home between like 6:15 and 6:30. I did not make it home until probably about 8, quarter after, just because of all the traffic.
Yeesh.
So yeah. Then of course I ended up taking off the next day, and yeah, because it was just that damn close. Mileage wise, from one edge of the fire to where I am, um, depending on how far it had actually traveled at that point, was anywhere between, I think the shortest at that point was 7 miles,
Hmm.
6.5 miles, something like that. Luckily, everything held out. The winds went, you know, in a way that it was away from me, and they did at least do a backburn to contain it a little bit. But yeah, so I've been, dealing with all of that for the last little while now.
Hmm. And what's the? I don't know if you said it up, but what's the containment level at?
Let me double check and see if anything has actually been updated on that. So as of 12 p.m. yesterday, it was 75% contained.
Well, that's good.
They have not really made any major update since then. Um, yeah, the only thing they really said was that as a for today there was an elevated risk of spread of wildfires because of the weather, but no update for that particular fire that's already happening.
Hmm. Okay. And didn't they find out who? Didn't they catch somebody who caused that too?
Yeah, so it was the day after, 2 days after, I think, that they did catch a 19-year-old
Hmm.
who was uh, burning broken up uh, pallets. And um, they have video of him from, months before. I think the one that's been circulating is from January,
Mm-hmm.
where just a whole group of people in that spot, you know, with a huge bonfire in the background, and they're
Yeah.
screaming at each other and all of that stuff. So it's not that this was a one-off kind of thing. This is a normal occurrence, whether or not it's legal or not. Um, but yeah, it is a semi-normal occurrence. Just I don't know, nothing has been posted about how it happened. Did he
Right.
set it on purpose and not, clean it up? Um, I think they said something about that it was being treated as a fire that was not fully extinguished. So either he was the one that had to extinguish it and didn't, and that's why they picked him up. It could just be that, he set it for himself.
Hmm.
But that they haven't really said anything about. He is, um, I think it's arson and aggravated arson. And,
Wow.
obviously that can change. Uh, Luckily, it doesn't look like there were any, uh, deaths or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I think, one or two buildings that were completely lost.
Ooh.
A couple of businesses that were kind of burned, but are able to, like, they're not condemned buildings. And then a crap ton of uh, forest, and it's a wildlife preserve at that in that area. So we'll see if anything else gets added to his charges.
Okay. Seems legit. All right. So at least, and that's basically why we had no show. Because honestly, it didn't feel right to have Mako just rush right in after work. I'm like, no, no, not having that. And that's basically the long and short. And we used to do a Wednesday show. Like we would do something to follow up for it, but we're just gonna just keep going as it is. So if there is a demand, we'll see. But anywho, we're gonna keep it as it going here. So now we got that out the way. Let's get into our week and day. Mako-chan, how was your week? How was your day?
Week was obviously a little bit interesting.
Mm.
I also, you know, on Tuesday had a job interview.
We're rooting
Today
for
I
you.
had the second interview.
Ooh.
So I will find out by Friday whether or not I can finally get out of my freaking crappy ass job.
Sweet freedom.
Yeah. But other than that, went into the city this weekend for Sailor Moon Super Live.
Yep.
Got to hang out with a lot of fun people. Hurt like hell for 2 days after that because the bed did not agree with me.
I don't. Well, outside the obvious, I slept like a light. I slept good.
I know you slept good. I did not.
But the funny thing is, when I first got my mattress, I couldn't sleep on it. I'm just like, I could sleep, but my sleep wasn't all that good. Got myself a topper, and it's been good ever since. Now I'm looking at, actually not a topper, I just got a cover. That's what I got. But I am looking at getting a topper next. I want nice plush sleep with the window right by my head. A nice breeze coming in. Enjoy that till it gets hot as fuck older, even at the middle of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. My weekend is pretty much the same. I am, basically continuing to prep for my round 2 trip to Japan. I'm picking up. I totally forgot to do this the first time I went, but I'm doing it now. No, not that I forgot, but I didn't realize. I CC Gray, which kind of pointed me to this one video of a guy who went to Japan for the first time, and he got a stamp book. You can go to the different train stations that you travel through and get it stamped. And you can put the date and what you were doing there. That's something I want to do. So I have to pick up one of those. Which, what I've been doing was, I use Wonderlog, and I connect that, and I have that with my actual itinerary, and I've been putting in there what the tours we're doing and everything we're doing. I'm just kind of like figuring things out. I already know maybe there's a few spots I put on there I know I'm not going to be able to hit up, and that's quite okay. And as for your request, Mako, I don't think that's going to be an issue.
The tea?
Yes, because right next to Nintendo Osaka is the Capcom Cafe and retail store. So I can go and pick them up there as we're going into Nintendo Osaka. Which I just found out, Nintendo is opening another flagship store in San Francisco. And when I found this out, I only had one thing to say. I hope to God that flagship location is about the size of their Kyoto, Tokyo, or Osaka locations. Because I can tell you this shit right the fuck now. Nintendo New York, it's 2 floors. You could take both of those floors and put it side by side. Multiply that by 2.5. That's the typical size of a Nintendo of one of their stores in Japan. And I've taken pictures in there. It is huge. And I'm hoping that happens because the San Francisco store can have way more stuff to sell. So that's what I'm kind of hoping for. And I'm kind of hoping when the real estate agreement is up at Rockefeller Center, I kind of hope Nintendo New York moves into a bigger location because that would be really cool. And of course, it would be Times Square. Not that I'm complaining, but it would be kind of awesome if they actually moved the Nintendo store to Brooklyn, to Industry City. Industry City is like a series of warehouses that have been converted into retail locations. If I'm not mistaken, there's a distillery and a brewery out there. And Book Off opened up a store there. And Namco Bandai opened up a cross store right upstairs. So to me personally, I think it would be a natural fit if they were to move the Nintendo store to Brooklyn just for that. You have like a little, and it's called Japan Village, which is really cool. And that cross store has been open since February, and I have yet to go there. I'm thinking maybe next weekend, which I realize is my last free weekend before my trip. So now will probably be the weekend I'll start packing and put everything together. That way I can just get up and go. All right. So enough about that. I'm going to get into some housekeeping news here. I want to give you some updates on the podcast. Don't forget, podcast VODs are available on our YouTube page, youtube.com/Anime Jam Session. Episodes do go up Thursdays at 12 noon, so definitely check them out. This is perfect for those of you if your Twitch sub has already gone out, or if you want to see stuff that's not even in the archives anymore. There is that. Let's see. Click. There we go. Let's see. We did the Sailor Moon Super Live. Like update that. No show May 20th and May 27th. I will be in Japan on my vacation and my birthday vacation. And as much as I love doing this show and I love you guys, I am not doing a show there. Now, there is a possibility I might be calling into OLR because I think on one of those days I'll be in their show. I'll be in Akihabara, and I might just go live on their show, running around and stuff like that. So we will see. It's all in the timing of that. So okay, next up is Geek Roundtable. This is where we talk more about the geekier aspects of our life and what geeky stuff we've been up to. So take it away, Mako-chan.
Yeah, I really didn't have anything that I really felt like digging out, so I had my bonsai next to me. But in Lego news, I am doing some Lego stuff, Lego-esque stuff, for my mother and godmother for Mother's Day. So I get to work on that soon.
That's nice.
And yeah, other than that, I'm just itching to play on my new phone.
Yes, which speaking of phones, I too got a new phone, but it's still here in the box. Look, if you want to send spam mail to my work job, be my guest. Anyhow, it's still in the box. I have to sit down and move like all my downloads and stuff to the memory card, set up the phone, then dump all that stuff from the memory card to the new phone. And I already decided that I'm going to keep all the convention photos are going to stay on the card. And when it comes to the camera photos, I'm only keeping about 2 years worth of photos on the new phone. So, because everything else is already backed up in Google Drive, and I'm going to take that 512 card and just most likely drop it in my tablet just because. Because one of the things that's on that memory card are my photos from my trip to Japan, and the photos look absolutely amazing. So, which means I'll probably will start bringing my tablet to work to show people like photos and stuff, which kind of looks better that way, as opposed to like using the iPad to log into my Google Photos and pulling it up or something like that. Anywho, enough about that. Also, I finished the season 2 of the 100 Girlfriends That Really, Really, Really Love You. Hakari is still my personal favorite. They introduced a character named Mimimi, which I don't really like her because she's quite full of herself. Because when it comes to beauty, and I'm just like, that's to me, that's just a turn off.
Mm.
And there's another character named Mei Mei where she's like, if let's see, if Hinata were to ninja disappear every time she smiled at Naruto, that's basically her. So I kind of like her. And then there's Nano. She's one of the more smarter chicks. I like her, so it's pretty good. I'm just curious how they're gonna get through all 100. So there is that. So I was going to start on ReZero season 3, but the first episode is like 90 minutes long. So I'm like, I need to find a day to sit down and watch that. So I gotta find a day to watch that, and then I can start watching the rest of the episodes throughout the night. But I did start. All right, let me pull it up. I didn't even realize I was not even logged into Discord. I had to read. All right, I have to look up the character's name because I don't remember the anime title off the top of my head. Okay. Let's see. The main character's name is Alina Clover. She is from. Let me flip this over here. The name of the anime is I may be a guild receptionist, but I'll solo any boss to clock out on time. Mako, I think this might be something up your alley. Imagine having to kill high-level bosses just so you can leave work on time.
Yeah, that sounds interesting.
I have to tell Kuro Hikari-chan about that because she used to be an office worker, like a city office worker. So that's basically what this is. You're a receptionist in the guild, so I think she'd get a kick out of that. So there is that. I know I started on another anime briefly, and I don't remember what it was, but that's fine by me because I'll probably catch back into it anywho. And also, I am wearing one of the awesome Sailor Moon the Super Live T-shirts on the show here. On the front is a nice graphic logo of the Senshi and the graphic logo of the musical, and on the back are all the tour dates. Now, what was interesting was I think I saw it this morning or yesterday morning on my way to work. Now, you know how this happens. Somebody, this is in many fandom groups, somebody will make like that automated post about an awesome T-shirt, and everybody's talking about, oh, I gotta get this shirt. And if you're smart, and if you reverse image look up the shirt, you'll find out that the person who's trying to sell this shirt is bootlegging it from somebody else. So instead of giving $20 to the bootlegger, I'd rather give $22 to like Once Upon a Tea or T-shirt. One of the official places where the artist is going to get a royalty off of the shirt. Now, there was somebody who shared a bootleg Sailor Moon Super Live shirt. And it was bootleg, but you know what was funny about it?
What?
It actually looked better than the official merchandise shirt. Okay. It was, I think it also had in a long sleeve. On one side of the shirt was a patch, and I think it had the Sailor Moon logo. And on the other side of the sleeve had all the inner Senshi symbols going down it. Now, if you get the hoodie, it's the same thing as the shirt, but on the one side of the sleeve is all of the symbols of the inner Senshi. But this has a shirt. This is one of those few times where, you know what, this is actually cooler than the official merchandise. So there is that. I will say, if I come across it again, I might pull the trigger, but we'll see. But also, you know, while we were there were some cosplayers. There was a human Luna. There was a bunch of Usagis. It was actually a very good time. And my sister Holly showed up. This child flew up from Texas just to see this, then turned right back around and flew back home. Mind you, she had already seen it in Texas. That is wild. But also dedication. One of the members of our troupe, Sammy, she saw it in LA and Seattle, and she came out here in New York. And I think she had VIP for every single show. And I respect that. So there is that. So now, before we get into tonight's show, we do have some breaking news. This popped up on my radar like earlier today, and I kind of want to get this out of the way. This is just effing out there. Anywho, let me turn this down. It seems that a cosplayer had their hands caught in somebody else's cookie jar by the feds and was arrested. A Boston man was sentenced to 28 years for sexually exploiting minors. Jalen Latimer of Roxbury pleaded guilty to 1 count of conspiracy to commit sex trafficking and 2 counts of sexual exploitation of a minor. Prosecutors say that Latimer, who was known to cosplay when interacting with children, what he did this time was he had another adult recording him being inappropriate with a 10-year-old 3 years ago.
Ugh.
And this fuckhead had the victim's 5-year-old sibling hold the phone to record it.
Oh my god.
Now, a year later, Latimer conspired with... No, wait. It was an adult that was holding the phone. My bad. So a year later, he did this again with another child. Latimer was arrested in January 2024 and later convicted in Worcester Superior Court on 3 counts of aggravated rape of a child, 4 counts of aggravated indecent assault and battery on a child, and human trafficking of a minor. He is currently serving a 15-year state prison sentence, which federal authorities say will run concurrently with his new federal prison sentence, which means once the 15-year is done, he will be transferred to Club Fed to finish out the rest of his sentence. And if I know how the jail system works, believe you me, he ain't going to make it to 15 years. He will not. Serenity 041088 says castrate the MFer. If we could in this country, we would. But somebody is going to leak to the jail, to prisoners what he did, and somehow he's gonna find himself in Gen Pop, and well, bye bye. That's all that needs to be said. And what is kind of crazy is that this is the second time we have talked about something like this on the podcast. Last time something like this happened was maybe about 10 plus years ago. Another cosplayer arrested on federal charges for sex trafficking. What the F? On a side note, Ranma421 says, I can see a live action Ranma music show in multiple cities. I'd do it too. As do I. Which reminds me, I'm going to have to send you a link to a YouTube video, or I'll post it on my Facebook page. There is a cosplay troupe out of Japan that does various cosplay skits and stuff. They did this really awesome 8-minute Ranma 1/2 musical, and it was all dance interpretation. It was really good, so I have to repost that one. Actually, matter of fact, I will actually post it in our chat here, because I actually sent the link to it to a friend of mine who's also a big Ranma 1/2 fan, who I'm meeting up with in Japan in about 2.5 weeks. So check out that YouTube link and enjoy it. I think it's one of my personal favorites, and when I have like 10 minutes of time, I try to watch it. So anywho, let's get into tonight's articles. I'll kick things off. We'll just go back and forth on this. So the first thing we're going to talk about is how Star Wars actors reveal iconic lightsaber duel was inspired by Gundam's best anime movie. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Star Wars was loosely inspired by by an anime movie. Some I don't remember what it was, but there is always connections here and there. So, the Mobile Suit Gundam franchise is constantly seen as the Star Wars of Japan, which I can kind of see that. With the connotation reflecting its status as the premier science fiction brand in the country, it's been revealed that this element came to full circle for the later Star Wars movies. Ahmed Best's own anime fandom was an influence on the Star Wars prequel trilogy, with a notable Gundam anime movie influencing a major lightsaber battle. This shows how groundbreaking Gundam and Star Wars both were and how they fed into each other. The reveal also credits a controversial actor from the series with one of the best action scenes. As revealed in the second season of the documentary series Light and Magic, which details the story behind the special effects studio of ILM, Industrial Lights and Magic, which was a company that Lucas created. So, it was revealed that the actor Ahmed Best drew from anime in terms of helping one of the Star Wars series' best fight scenes come to light. In the episode There Must Be a Way, the series looks at Best's controversial role as Jar Jar Binks in Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, and the toll that the backlash took on him. While Jar Jar may have been disliked, me personally, I didn't really have an issue with him. He was annoying at best, but that's just about it. Best was integral to the special effects team nailing a certain lightsaber duel in the sequel, Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. This scene pitted diminutive Jedi Master Yoda against Count Dooku, but it was unknown how to do so believably, especially given that the former had always been depicted as by way of a puppet beforehand. Animation supervisor Rob Coleman was introduced to anime through Ahmed Best, with the latter specifically pointing out that the beam saber duels seen in Mobile Suit Gundam Char's Counterattack, as you can see there. Through this and various kung fu movies, the vision of how Yoda would move came to life, instantly erasing concerns from the special effects company. The battle ended up being the highlight of the second film, even among those who didn't even like it. Thus, Ahmed's involvement with Star Wars was inarguably redeemed, even if Jar Jar Binks remained controversial. This was something of a full circle moment for Gundam, as the franchise's beam sabers were definitely influenced by Star Wars lightsabers. Char's Counterattack was the original Gundam anime and ended the story of Amuro Ray and Char Anzabal, which the movie you can find is available on Netflix, and the series Lights and Magic can be streamed on Disney+. So that's really cool. And now we move from Gundam to Sanrio going at breakneck speeds.
Yeah. So we have talked about the Sanrio character popularity poll a couple of times now. But now you're not just going to be able to vote for your favorite Sanrio characters.
Oh boy.
There might be a couple of Sega video game characters that are also going to be part of this.
Oh, really?
Okay.
What happened?
I think my computer froze.
That's not good.
No, it's not.
All right, I can continue. I can continue going while you reboot and come back.
Just give me.
Okay.
I'm just gonna. I don't think it's the full computer. I think it's just the website.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I saw something. I just saw your bonsai tree kind of move a little, so that's definitely the website.
Yeah, and it just froze on me again.
Bastards!
All right, one more time, and if that doesn't work, I will start looking at the crap on my phone.
Oh, sometimes that's what you gotta do.
Yeah, so Sonic the Hedgehog is and will be taking part in the popularity poll. So it's going to be the everything is going to be matched with collaborative items that are uniting the imagery associated with Hello Kitty and other Sanrio mascots. And it froze on me again.
A cursed website.
Yeah, I pretty much think so. All right, let me just go into it from my phone.
Live television, boys and girls, ladies and germs. I'm actually looking at my anime list, and I have about 17 animes I need to actually finish watching that I'm currently in the middle of. And my plan to watch list. Ooh, I have
Oh,
136 titles there.
all right. So, yeah, so this is going to have collaborative items that will unite the imagery associated with Hello Kitty and other Sanrio mascots. It's certain to make the race even tighter, and Sonic and his friends have never looked cuter. So it was revealed on X that the Sanrio 2025 popularity poll has a couple of extra characters from the Sonic the Hedgehog cast. They will be involved in the rankings with incarnations based on the Sonic and Friends animated web series. The animated shorts are targeted towards younger viewers and feature chibi, super deformed versions of Sonic and his allies. The Sonic and Friends Sonic the Hedgehog entry will be number 33 in the poll, with Sonic shown wearing a Hello Kitty themed hat. Other images show the various Chaos Emeralds, while also hinting at other characters that will be involved. It is confirmed that the other Sonic characters will be Tails, Knuckles, Amy Rose, and Eggman. And each of them will have their own Sanrio-based costume. One of which they know because it is shown in a silhouette will be Kuromi and her jester hat. So that will be part of it. I am assuming Amy Rose for that one. But again, that's just me assuming. Yeah, so there will be merchandise that is going to be produced later on for this collaboration. The poll will end on May 25th of 2025. This is the 40th of the events. So it is, technically an anniversary. So that might be why they're doing this.
Okay.
But a series of charms by You Treasure for each Sanrio character can be purchased, with said purchases bolstering the corresponding characters' rankings in the poll. Likewise, the pending Sonic crossover is just one of many similar mashups, with other frequent tag team partners for Sanrio mascots being characters such as Hatsune Miku and other major anime-related brands. So, yeah, look into that. I am kind of interested to see what the Sanrio Tails and Sanrio Knuckles stuff is going to look like. I wish there was going to be a shadow, but can't always get what you want, I guess.
Now I'm kind of flipping back and forth here. Now, the Sanrio character 2024. What didn't Cinema Roll win that last year?
I think so.
I'm actually looking it up real quick because there's something I wanted to check. Yeah, Cinema Roll. Yeah. And I'm looking at the list. Damn, Choco Cat didn't hit. At least Choco can hit the top 50. Number 46, followed by a Gretzko at 45. That ain't so bad, I suppose. Enough about that. Let me let's switch gears here. We're gonna talk about Godzilla, or its Japanese name, Gojira. So evidently, you can use Godzilla to stomp nails. Interesting concept. Looks like it's a brand new type of hammer. Bring down the kaiju power on your next do-it-yourself project. Custom, creators of unique iron tools and decorations, have launched a new hammer in the shape of Godzilla's mighty foot. Weighing in at 550 grams, this iron hammer uses lost wax casting to preserve the minute details. The model was created using a high-precision 3D scan of Godzilla's feet as seen in the 2001 film Godzilla, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All-Out Attack. The iron is then dyed black, adding to the visual effect. It's actually pretty cool looking, but I would not use this as a as an actual prop.
No.
No, I would actually keep it as a collector's item. That's just me. Let me just see if I can pull up a picture here. Lock. There we go. As you can see, that is the Godzilla hammer. I don't know. Like I said, for me, it'd be more like a collector's piece.
Yeah, I don't know what I would do with that.
Find a way to turn it off. Mm-hmm.
What?
Nothing. Anywho, what's up with the Evangelion tour?
Yeah, I saw this and was really kind of interested in it.
Yeah, I kind of want to. I would like to do this. I'm curious about it.
Yeah, so Sony Music Studio Kara Kashimaro Kashimara Productions and 54 Entertainment announced Monday that they will be bringing the Evangelion Wind Symphony concert for the Neon Genesis Evangelion anime and rebuild of Evangelion films to North America in August. The concert is also going to feature a performance by the anime's opening theme song artist Yoko Takahashi for quote unquote select parts of the show. So there are going to be 3 stops on this tour, one in Canada in Toronto, one in Texas in Irving, and one in California, Los Angeles.
What?
Yeah.
New York's not good enough for you?
No, I guess not. The tickets are going to go on sale on Monday. The first 1,000 people in each city who purchase a ticket will receive a limited edition badge at the concert, which unlocks a secret surprise that the company will unveil in the coming weeks. And this is a tour commemorating the series' 30th anniversary.
Not bad.
Yeah, so it looks like the symphony debuted in September of 2018, and the lineup included a total of 10 tracks from the original anime series and new films.
That's pretty cool.
I guess we will see what is actually brought over, and see if there's any additions or changes for the mini North American tour.
To go back to our last story about the Godzilla hammer, Berry says it will go up on the wall. Ronmo421 says that I need to order this just to use on some projects. I can see that.
And by projects, you mean your coworkers' heads?
Hey-o! Well, given how this next article plays out, that might just be the case. We're talking about WEBTOON. The WEBTOON Creators Union is filing a complaint against Kakao Entertainment. Well, all right then. The WEBTOON Creators Union in South Korea announced that it plans to file a complaint with the Labor Relations Commission against Kakao Entertainment for refusing to engage in collective bargaining. Kakao Entertainment is the parent company of Kakao WEBTOON Tapas and Kakao Page. Okay? According to the union, it submitted a request for collective bargaining to Kakao Entertainment on April 11th, but received a rejection notice on the 17th. The union claims that Kakao Entertainment's refusal constitutes as an unfair labor practice under Korean labor law. In its response, Kakao Entertainment reportedly said that it does not recognize WEBTOON artists as workers under the Labor Union Act and therefore cannot accept the request for bargaining. Shina Ha, head of the WEBTOON Creators Union, criticized the response, saying, "We have formally established and operated a union under the Labor Union Act. This reply is unacceptable and the worst possible outcome." The union had been pushing for negotiations amid recent reports of a potential sale of the company, arguing that creators' rights must be protected during the process. I get it. Can't say I don't blame them. Let's see. What's I checked the forums real quick. There's nothing really forums, Opinions, some people don't want to recognize them. It's it is what it is. Hopefully that I do hope that they do get recognized as a proper union and they get their collective bargaining and get the proper negotiations, get what they work, because you work your heart off, you earn what you make. So
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then our last story for the night, oddly enough, is regarding South Korea.
Yeah, so the South Korean Ministry of Culture, Sports, and Tourism
Mm-hmm.
announced the 2025 to 2030 Basic Plan for Animation Industry Promotion. This was announced on April 24th, presided over by Acting President and Prime Minister Duck So-han. The new plan is a long-term strategy aimed at developing animation into a high-value industry. Key initiatives include expanding industry investments, diversifying content distribution, cultivating specialized talent, and supporting overseas expansion. To revitalize the industry, the government will establish a 20 billion won, which is about 15 million US
Ooh.
dollars, animation focused fund this year, aiming to expand it to 150 billion won or $106 million by 2029. To attract international co productions, incentives such as partial reimbursement of domestic production costs will also be introduced.
Mm.
In response to media trends, the plan emphasizes broader IP utilization, support for producing content targeted at young adults, as well as projects optimized for streaming platforms and short form content. The government will also encourage cross adaptations with webtoons and web novels. The government also plans to support AI based video content production and distribution, build Korean specific AI training data, and establish related technologies. Education programs are also looking to be enhanced as demands grow for webtoon and web novel adaptation. New training programs for planning producers and professional scriptwriters will be introduced alongside AI based video content courses in partnership with universities and affiliated institutions. This plan, the government aims to grow the animation industry's domestic market size from 1.1 trillion won,
Ooh.
which is about $780 million in 2023, to 1.9 trillion won, about $1.35 billion by 2030, and expanding the workforce from 6,417 to 9,000 employees.
And hopefully they will be unionized too. All right. Now that we got that out the way, we're on the part of the show that y'all really like to stick around for and enjoy. It's Meanwhile in Japan. We have 3 great stories, but we're only going to discuss 2. We might get to the 3rd depending on time. But let's see. I'll take the second one.
Okay. I'm actually going to take the 3rd one.
Oh, shocker. I figured you would take the first and we jump back to the 3rd. But our first story will just basically is the government was ordered to search for parents of a 67-year-old man switched at birth. So there is that.
Yeah, it was being done because the hospital in which the man was born was actually a municipal hospital. So it was a government-owned hospital. So he wants the government to basically make up for the mistake of switching babies and allow him to be able to meet his parents since he's already 67, and wants his mother to be able to meet her actual son as well.
Seems legit. Last time we had something like that happen, we got like 6 seasons of Sister Sister. All right, so our next story is regarding a naked man and Saitama police. You put 2 and 2 together. The Saitama police continue to piece together a man's naked rampage spanning 3 cities. Over the years, there have been some pretty egregious crimes and acts of criminal recklessness, but an incident recently occurred in Saitama Prefecture that was so widespread and mindless that the police are still trying to figure out what happened. The latest account of 48-year-old Daisuke Nishimura's alleged streak of assaults and endangerment that resulted in multiple injuries and 1 death, but the list of offenses have been constantly growing, and no, this guy is not Keiko Kamen. At about 8:40 p.m. on April 21st, the suspect was allegedly driving in Saitama City, where he hit 2 men riding motorcycles one after the other, fatally injuring one of the riders. The collision had become a hit and run when Nishimura allegedly fled the scene. However, about 500 meters down the street into Kawaguchi City, he crashed head-on into another car at an intersection, ramming it repeatedly. Exited his car, revealing himself to be completely naked except for some shoes, and then he stole the car of the woman he crashed into and drove off with it. Nishimura took the stolen car about 2.5 kilometers into Kawaguchi, where at about 9 p.m. he allegedly stopped at a konbini and shoplifted stuff. Sometime after that, he crashed his stolen car into a taxi that had 2 passengers in the rear seat. According to someone in the taxi company, Nishimura climbed onto the hood of the cab and started banging on the windshield before opening the front door, dragging the driver out while shouting, "I'll kill you," stealing the taxi with the passengers still inside. Still with me here?
Yeah, definitely a weird one.
He was said to have driven the taxi for 20 minutes into neighboring Soka City before crashing the stolen taxi with the passenger still inside into a guardrail, fleeing the scene on foot. He was caught on camera walking down the street while screaming and trying to break into at least one house. The passengers managed to escape safely. Finally, at about 9:30 p.m., he entered a cram school while a class with the junior high school students were still in progress. When confronted by the teacher, Nishimura allegedly hit the instructor in the face with a mug, causing injuries that required several stitches. Nishimura is also said to have grabbed one of the students while she was trying to flee, but she managed to escape with only a scraped knee. Police arrived shortly and arrested him on the spot. When questioned, he told the police, "I shouldn't talk about it," leaving very little to go on terms of what triggered his rampage. In a subsequent investigation, police found that there were about 20 hit and runs involving either injury, death, or damage to property in Saitama and Kawaguchi cities that same evening, and trying to see if Nishimura was involved with any of them. He was initially charged for burglary of the cram school, but surely will be facing a few dozen other charges, including, but not limited to, manslaughter, hit and run, assault, destruction of property, reckless driving, shoplifting, public indecency, obstruction of business, kidnapping, and attempted burglary. If found guilty of everything, the penalties will be substantial to say the least, but some people believe that it may come down to an insanity plea. Edison's had a few things to say about this. I'm sure you must have been on some kind of drugs. The test will come out soon. Test results. I've never seen a crime like this in my life. What's happening to Japan? I would say someone like that deserves a death penalty, but maybe he doesn't even realize what he did. It would be scary if he did all that sober. Nishimura's condition at the time is a mystery. He was reportedly calm when dealing with the police, but appeared confused when surrounded by the reporters. There were no reports of him failing a breathalyzer test on the scene, which is typically mentioned in the news for cases like this. Likewise, there were no mention of his urine testing positive for drugs either, and a full blood test may take several days. Time is certainly on the side of the police, since the standard practice for them is to prolong his detention by nearly a month for each charge he faces while they conduct their investigation. With that alone, Nishimura could very well be locked up for quite a long time before any decision is reached. Jesus Christ on a cracker.
Yeah, not exactly a
That's wild.
yeah, it's not exactly a sane travel plan.
Mako, let me tell you. You have posted stories that made me lose my proverbial shit. You have posted stories where I've went good night on the podcast. You have posted stories that made me get up and walk out of the room. You've actually posted ones that made me just head desk. I think this one takes the cake because there's nothing I can. That's pretty effing outlandish.
It reminded me
Oh God.
of the article that I was reading to everybody in the room this weekend.
Oh my God. Oh my God. And I have to share that on my personal face. Oh my God.
Yeah, it just that kind of weirdness is
Okay.
what reminds me yeah, and I'm just like, I have to add this in there.
Okay, we have time. Please tell the audience about this wild shit.
So there is a local police chief that is under investigation for and these are, this is people that have heard this through the news, and people in the police department themselves calling this like an Animal House Act. So this police chief, yes, North Bergen.
Oh, somebody knows.
Yeah, so this police chief defecated in various areas, both public and not so public, but on the floor, in the garbage cans. He ended up, like, there's just so much crap. Ended up basically gassing the entire department with hot peppers because he mixed it into somebody's food and then heated it up. And it was a pepper that was so hot that it basically it pepper sprayed everybody that came in contact with it, sending one of them to the hospital. Yes, there were needles put into private areas, just like stabbed into them. It was amazing how much crap this guy did for so long. But yeah, it's let me see if I can pull this up really quick.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty outlandish. Seriously, we were all discussing this in the lift ride back to the hotel.
Yeah. He chased one officer around a room and stabbed him with a hypodermic needle, causing his penis to bleed.
Oof.
Dropped drugs believed to be Viagra and Adderall into the office coffee. He would shave himself on people's desks.
My God.
He would purposely clog up the toilets with toilet paper and other objects. Enough that plumbers had to be called in. Purposely taking people's keys and setting off their car alarms in the parking lot. Yeah. Demanded that one officer write part of a research paper for his daughter's history class about the evolution of policing, even though it took the officer away from his work duties. Put ink on doorknobs and firecrackers under chairs. Smashed a computer monitor in rage because too many people were entering his office. Allowed officers to take guns out of the armory, including an AK-47, for no damn reason whatsoever.
CC Graywich says, I think we scarred that Uber driver for life. And C. DeMary says, and people say Florida is wild.
Yeah, no, I holy crap.
Okay, the reason why Florida is getting wild, because a lot of people from New York are moving to Florida.
Well, a lot of people from New York ended up moving to New Jersey, too.
But does that really count as it's right next door?
Well, the crazy has gone up because of it, so I guess so.
Well, then again, you had the influx because of the pandemic. So, yep, fair enough. The quote, Judge Mills Lane, may he rest in peace. I'll allow it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's why that Japan story reminded me of that, and I had to add it. But anyway, on to the last story of the night.
Yes.
So manners are important in Japan. And while most of the country's etiquette has its roots in common sense, certain points might not be so intuitive for visitors from other parts of the world. Thankfully, people in Japan are pretty understanding of innocent mistakes, and the locals are often happy to explain the most useful aspects of Japanese etiquette, and those helpful locals now include Sailor Moon and Cardcaptor Sakura. So it's Manga Manners, and it's a series of informative poster-style art panels featuring characters from popular series from publisher Kodansha, who give quick single-point pieces of advice about Japanese manners and customs. And I need you to look into this.
Okay.
This is starting April 24th. The displays can be seen in the Shinkansen sections of Tokyo, Shinagawa, Nagoya, Kyoto, and Shin Osaka stations.
I'm going to stop you right there. We will be taking the Shinkansen, so I know I should be able to get photos from the Tokyo and from all of these stations except for Shinagawa.
Well, that's not it. So
Okay.
There are brand new designs because this isn't just being done at the Shinkansen. It was also done in one of the airports in Narita.
There's only one airport in Narita.
Yeah, but this is there are 17 total panels representing the series. The complete series list is Chikawa, Fire Force, The Seven Deadly Sins, Ghost in the Shell, Shoto no Sushi, Sailor Moon, Tokyo Revengers, Skip and Loafer, Attack on Titan, Cardcaptor Sakura, Akira, Blue Lock, Parasite, Cells at Work, Fairy Tale, Metalist, and Kaiji. This is what I want you to look for. There is a Manga Manners pamphlet,
Ah.
limited quantities at the stations, which show the whole group. And these topics range, it's covering a very broad range. So some of the rules are genuine offense if not followed, while other are, just kind of, hey, by the way. So there is an explanation for one of them that says you're supposed to wash your body before entering the communal tub at public baths or hot springs, or that there are places in Japan where you'll be required to remove your shoes before entering. Others, like the Chikawa teacher, the Chikawa one teaching visitors that kanpai is what you say as a toast when drinking together with somebody in Japan, or the Fire Force one that says that is letting you know it's okay to slurp Japanese noodles. The selected manga panels highlight the point being covered too. Sailor Moon, for example, is dressed in a kimono on the poster, where she explains that the left side of the robe goes over the right, even for women. Likewise, the Ghost in the Shell one raises a sake cup as she informs everyone that the legal drinking age in Japan is 20, and if you are old enough to drink, you'll know to give the major a hearty kanpai, thanks to what you learned from Chikawa. There are a few panels related more to safety than etiquette. The Akira biker is a reminder that vehicles drive on the left in Japan, and is especially important if you're visiting from the US, since you need to remember that. There is the Attack on Titan one, which is when taking photos of the train, stay away from the railings. So it's, really it is a little bit, customary, a little bit, just trying to inform you. The one that they say is a little overblown is the Cardcaptor Sakura one, which says that a bow at 45 degrees is customary to show gratitude. But then it goes on to saying that, such a deep bow is probably a bit much for the kind of situations most travelers are likely to encounter. Thanking restaurant staff, showing appreciation for someone who pointed you toward the station. So it's not that that it's not polite. It's just, it edges on a little over proper for what you will probably be dealing with.
Gotcha. Okay.
Displays will be up until the end of June. So if you will be traveling, go ahead and check that out. And if you will be traveling, go ahead and pick up one of the pamphlets if you can, and bring one home for me.
All right. What I have done, I have like in Outlook, my vacation time blocked off, and in there I keep a list of stuff to pick up or stuff to find, which it kind of goes with my Wanderlog and all that. That link is there, so I have that linked into the article, so I know to grab the pamphlet if I see it. So we'll probably get to the train stations a little bit early, so we can do like a quick walk around, see if we can find it. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one. It's nice to have that, and I'm assuming it's being done more so for the Osaka Expo, since there's going to be so many people from outside of the country that are going to be in Japan. It's also really nice as this kind of free, little souvenir for yourself.
That too. But you know what I also find? I also have, I have to go to the airport and see if I can get this reprinted. Because when I first went to Japan, I asked them to give me a reprint of my plane tickets as part of, I was going to do like a little thing on the wall of my plane tickets and some of the receipts and all that stuff. But I lost that stuff. So I will be doing it for this trip here. And I'm going to see if they can reprint ones from my original trip, because and I have a bag of all the receipts and everything from my first trip sitting in there. So I kind of want to put something like that, like a collage together. So there is that. But I think we are done here in Under the Wire and then some. So I believe it's time to transform and roll out.
I agree.
So if you like tonight's show, tell a friend. They in turn will tell another friend, and so on and so forth. We're independent bloggers, independent podcasters. What we like and don't like, we're being straight up with you about it from the get-go. So if you have any questions about the show, drop us a line at podcast@animejamsession.com. Again, that is podcast@animejamsession.com. We are ready to believe you. And if you like to hear more of our episodes, and you want to check out our back catalog of episodes, find our podcast. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM, YouTube Music, or Amazon Music. Anywhere podcasts is available. And what's cool is some of these sites have like a little pop-up section where you can leave little reviews. So if you could do that, we really appreciate that. And don't forget to check out our website at animejamsession.com, where you will find not just our weekly podcast, you will find convention reports, anime reviews, editorials, cosplay tips and tricks, cosplay interviews, all that and a lot more at animejamsession.com. And follow us on our social media pages. It's Anime Jam Session on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Blue Sky. And to everybody that follows us on those, thank you so much. We couldn't do this show without you. We love the fans. And down below is our tip jar. If you're still participating with us, there are direct links to our Stream Elements, Streamlabs, and our Ko-Fi. If you want to give us a few dollars, we really appreciate that. You can always cheer us on with bits in the chat, which is also cool. And subscribing to our channel. We had a bunch of gift subs go out earlier. I believe it was from Cedar Berry. Thank you so much, dude. We really love and appreciate your help and support on this channel. So now we're going to go around the room. Last words, Mako-chan.
I don't know if I'm going to stay up late enough to fully set up my phone, or if I'm just going to go and crash.
My last words is kind of similar to that. I actually have to, after I do all the edits, I'm going to have to sit down and start moving stuff from the phone to the memory card. And from the memory card to the phone. You have to understand, except for a couple of models up until recently, Samsung, the Galaxy S Class, always had a slot for memory cards. After the S20, they stopped doing it. So me and Mako are the last few holdouts.
Yeah, I have everything off of the old phone. It is currently sitting on my computer, because I know it will be quicker to transfer from my computer to the new phone instead of transferring from the SD card to the new phone. So now I just have to hook the phone up. Unfortunately, it's I have to go and get a different cable for it.
What do you mean?
Because it's USB-C.
Yeah.
On both ends.
Okay.
And my computer doesn't have that connection.
Is there? I thought there was a port in the back of the computer.
Is there a port in the back? I'll have to check.
Yeah, please. Yeah, definitely do that. But you can just if you go on Amazon right now, you can get a USB-C 3.0 cable that will work just as good. It's a little pricey, but it'll work.
Well, I have other cables.
Okay.
It's just a matter of going into my room to get it.
Yeah.
But we'll check the back ports of my computer.
Yeah, because the way my setup is, both my phones are charging. My main phone is charging off that USB-C port it's on the back there. So, if anything, if there's not one in the back, there might be a port on the board itself where we can buy a little piece and install one, so that's not a big deal.
Yeah, we'll have to look into it later. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah. So those were our last words, and we're going to get up on out of here. Ari will be with us next week, so hopefully you'll be with us next week. So I'm Ranma.
And I am Mako-chan.
Great fight, great night. See you next week.
Good night.
Say goodnight, Mako-chan.
Good night, Mako-chan.
Perfect. Awesome. We're out of here. See you all next week.
This podcast has been a production of Anime Jam Session and AJS Productions. No fanboys and fangirls were hurt, maimed, shot, electrocuted, or pistol whipped in this episode. For now. The views, opinions, and thoughts expressed on this show do not reflect the staff or the network as a whole. But we're still right, damn it. For transcripts of this episode, start typing. Check us out at animejamsession.com and vognetwork.com for more information about us and other programming. Jamatane!